YouTube vinyl community, Beach Boy fans, retro nostalgia fan here. Today I'm going to be redoing a review on the Beach Boys Today album. This album, as I mentioned before, for my old video, this is one of the first masterpieces the Beach Boys made. Well, it may not be the first, but it's definitely one of them for sure. This album is such a classic that Capitol reissued it quite a few times. There was a point in the 70s where a couple of the early Beach Boy pre-Pet Sound albums had renamed titles for the album. Like this one, in the 70s, they got rid of 2 tracks and then turned it to just called Dance, Dance, Dance. And same with Shutdown Volume 2 was being called Fun, Fun, Fun. Or All Summer Long is still called All Summer Long. And then Summer Days being called California Girls. But anyway, let's talk about Beach Boys Today. So by late 1964, after the Christmas album, Brian had a nervous breakdown with his dad, Murray Wilson, when recording in 1964 on the All Summer Long and the Christmas album. Going into 1965, he had a bad nervous breakdown and he had a fight with his dad. It was a severe nervous breakdown. Then eventually around like January 65, maybe even December 1964, Brian had not only a nervous breakdown with his dad, but he had one on a plane that led to him not wanting to go on tours because at this point, he was really uncomfortable with the crowd. He didn't really feel comfortable going on stage anymore, and it just scared him a lot, and sometimes he would have issues playing on stage on live performances and stuff. And so it led to him deciding to get another band member as a tour session musician to play as his replacement while Brian works on the music in the studio to make Beach Boy albums from this album, from Beach Boys Today and onwards. And so for a little while, Glenn Campbell, the country singer Glenn Campbell, actually was playing with the Beach Boys a couple gigs, but then he didn't really care. However, despite him quitting with the Beach Boys, Brian offered Glenn a song called Guess I'm Dumb. And that was Glenn Campbell's first solo single. Thanks for that little help from Brian. That was very nice, Brian. And at this time, also, Brian wanted to work on... He also tried marijuana this time. He was starting to hang out with some people that say, hey, you gotta try this stuff. This stuff is good. So Brian tried marijuana during this album sessions. The first drug Brian got into was marijuana. And at this point, he just got married to his first wife, Marilyn Wilson. And she was from a band called the Honeys. And that is where Brian's artistic creativity comes in with this album. Even before this album, which I'll talk about some of the early Beach Boy albums before this in the future, but this is going to be an album review on Beach Boys Today. Today, no pun intended, we're going to talk about Beach Boys Today. So that's a little backstory. Let's get on to the track listing. Starting off with side 1 is a great opener, Do You Wanna Dance? Dennis sings this one. He starts off this album great with a fun, positive energy, and I love Dennis's vocals. He's like, do you wanna dance under the moonlight? I just love that. It's such a fun, poppy, catchy song. It's just so charming, and it's been on a lot of compilations because a lot of people... Even Brian Wilson, quote unquote, when I think of Dennis, my brother Dennis, I think of Do You Wanna Dance? And Brian Wilson himself said that, so that song is kind of emotional, sentimental for Brian, but also a song that shows Dennis a lot. Then after that, the second track, Good to My Baby, and as I mentioned in my older video, which I'm probably going to delete by the way, Good to My Baby is all about a guy just treating his girlfriend or fiance or wife very well, and they're being They want to be very strong with their relationship, and the guy is trying to show how caring he is to his girlfriend or wife. And that's what the song is about. But Good to My Baby is also when the band starts to take some new steps as well. It starts to have that more progressive pop sound, like progressive rock. Has that little bit of that, it has that old school pop mixed with that Pet Sounds vibe that you get out of it. And you'll definitely, if you are a Beach Boys fan, you'll know what I mean. But Good to My Baby, it's like Dance, 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 Do You Want to Dance? And She Knows Me Too Well, all mixed together. You get Good to My Baby. It's such a fun song. And then you get Don't Hurt My Little Sister. This is another fun song. This one's about Brian. Obviously, Brian doesn't have a sister, but it's actually referring to his first wife, Marilyn Wilson. And in my first video, I forgot her name, but now I know. I've done some little updated research. But Marilyn Wilson was Brian's first wife, and she was in a little doo-wop band called the Honeys. They're like, well, maybe not doo-wop, but they were like basically a knockoff of the Supremes. But she was in that group, and then at this point, she married Brian now, and Brian wanted to make a song about her and how he doesn't want anyone to hurt her and all that, which I think is really a sweet little fun song that Brian wrote. Then we get When I Grow Up to Be a Man. I love this song. This song sometimes even got me emotional. I love this song. This song is a beautiful pop song. It's about what you're going to be like when you get older and you're unsure at your current age if you're going to be the same when you're older or not. And I love that message. It's such a fun song. I know some Beach Boy fans are sick of it, but I just love the instrumentation. It has that Pet Sounds instrumentation, and I love the harmony, the falsetto. Beautiful, and Mike sings fabulous on this. It's great. And I love that, when I grow up to be a man. I love that. That's Brian's falsetto. And then we get the album version of Help Me Rhonda without the H. This version lasts a little longer, and this one is actually about a one-night stand, and Rhonda is like the alternative girl for a guy to ask, I'm like, you gotta help me, Rhonda, and to get my stress out with the relationship. So then a one-night stand is something that stressed the guy out. That's the message of the song, Help Me Rhonda. That's what I found out, but it's such a catchy song, and Al sings really good. It's like his second or third lead vocal performance on a Beach Boys song is from Al, is Help Me Rhonda. And there's two versions. The one I mentioned in Summer Days is the single version with the H on it, and then this version without the H. This is the earlier version. Personally, I actually like this version's really good, but I also really like the Summer Days version. For me, I like the Summer Days version. It's the first version I grew up with. I didn't really hear the 2-day version until a little later. But hearing it, this song also is iconic for its terrible sessions with the Wilson brothers' relationship with their dad. Their dad was like giving them so much crap, especially with Brian saying, oh, this song is produced wrong and stuff. And Brian he got pissed off with his dad in that session, I think, where they had to literally get security, like, to get him out. Well, maybe not security, but they got some people to kick the Wilson brothers' dad out, Murray. And then, despite that, the song came out, and it turned out to be a great hit for the band. Then we get the closing song for side one, Dance, Dance, Dance. This song is I Get Around, and Do You Want to Dance combined. It's literally just about having fun, dancing at places and going to little places that play music and dance after school, and you're just having the fun, like, ever since out of school, which is the beginning of the lyrics, and you just start focusing on music and you start dancing to the music. That's this message of Dance, 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 and it's such a fun song. This song is this and When I Grow Up to Be a Man, or the first two songs I heard off of this album, and maybe Help Me Rhonda as well. and Please Let Me Wonder, which I'll get to in a second. But yeah, this is a really good 10 Dance 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 10 out of 10. What a great song. It's I Get Around and Do You Want to Dance combined. You get Dance Dance Dance. Then side 2 is where the album gets really magical. It gets that personal, emotional Pet Sounds vibe that we know and love. We start off with Please Let Me Wonder. This one is about when a guy always imagines how the guy has a crush on a girl and she doesn't really like him. She turns him off. She turns, like, basically saying that, like, the song's about when sometimes you're in that mood where you see someone you really like, you have fascination, but they just turn you down, and then you always imagine how the relationship would go, and that's what Please Let Me Wonder is about. And it's a personal message, which I like. A lot of guys can relate, a lot of people can relate to that song, because you're like just wishing that relationship could come true, but it never happens, but you still think about it in the back of your mind. But and the harmony is beautiful and relaxing. And this is the first song where Brian worked on the song while he was high on weed, and it turned out to be a beautiful track. Then the Beach Boys did a cover of I'm So Young. This version I think is really good. I mean, the original had that, it sounded very good comparing to the original as well, but I think that the Beach Boys version is a lot better. The harmony is more beautiful, I think. And there's more session musicians, I think. It's really good. And then we get Kiss Me Baby. What a perfect emotional love ballad. This is another, it's like Please Let Me Wonder, but I think a lot better. This is a 10 out of 10. Kiss Me Baby, such a perfect example of making a slow love ballad with an emotional moral or story. Kiss Me Baby is when about a guy and a woman and his wife arguing and not getting along, but the guy is worried that the relationship is going to cause a breakup, and he does not want that, so he tries to negotiate with his wife or girlfriend. And that's the message and story of Kiss Me Baby. And they said, let's negotiate our problems and then let's kiss. That's what the song is about. And Kiss Me Baby is one of their biggest masterpieces ever. It's like as amazing as In My Room. Then we get She Knows Me Too Well, which to me the harmony is it's like a ripoff of Don't Worry Baby, but I think I actually like this ripoff more. As some people even said, the ripoffs, when the Beach Boys make a ripoff of their earlier songs, they make it better for some reason. So She Knows Me Too Well is actually a really good song, and it's basically similar to Kiss Me Baby, but like there's times where this one's about when your girlfriend or wife actually can relate to you, and yet you're still not sure that she understands your problems, but then she comes to you and says how much she loves you and appreciates you for who you are. That's what She Knows Me Too Well is about. Like, there's times where Brian is like so nervous about something, and at this time, Marilyn was like, it's all good. I still love you just the way you are. Maybe we could work things out. It's kind of like that as the message or story of the song. And I think She Knows Me Too Well is really good. And sometimes you get nervous. It's about, like, basically to simplify the point, She Knows Me Too Well is about a guy who's worried about how his relationship is going with his girl or wife, and yet the wife can like sense that out of him, and he's very nervous, but yet want to like keep the relationship going as well. It's kind of like basically a similar message to get like Kiss Me Baby, but this time it's where the wife can relate and understands their loved one very well. Then we get In the Back of My Mind. Oh my gosh, this is Dennis's at his best. This is his best vocal performance ever, in my opinion. I love some of his original songs in the late 60s and early 70s stuff, but man, this Brian Wilson track is such a hidden gem. This song got me teared up before. In the back of my mind is such an emotional song, and I can relate to this. This is where you're straight up worried about your relationship getting broken up and you don't know what you can do. But yet you have your egos that distract you and you fear of that happening. That's the story of In the Back of My Mind, and this song tears me up. This is actually my favorite song of the whole album. And as a kid, I used to thought it was a little boring, but when I hear it again, I'm like, wow, this is so relatable. So yeah, this is a 10 out of 10 track. In the Back of My Mind, fabulous masterpiece. But then sadly, we get the crappy filler track, Bowl Sessions with Big Daddy. Like, a lot of Beach Boy fans know that this album is like another Pet Sounds to them, where there's no even point of counting Bowl Sessions with Big Daddy at all. So, fuck that song, pardon my English. So, you get 11 real songs and one filler track. And that's Beach Boys Today. And here's the back. This is my analog production copy that you saw in my older version of this video. This one has a laminated front cover, but the back is not laminated. The front is, it's an Analog Productions pressing. It's in true stereo, and I really like this pressing. This pressing I take very good care of. I tried finding a mono pressing, but I couldn't, unfortunately. So I hope I could find like a near mint mono pressing. But yeah. And I'll gently take it out, because like, this is one I try not to play all the time, but yet take really good care of. I'm not taking it out of the inner sleeve. There's the record, Analog Production stereo pressing, and it is in true stereo, so that's really nice. But that concludes this better and updated version of this album review, and I hope you enjoy the video, everyone, and thank you for subscribing to my channel, and I appreciate it. Obviously I would never force anyone to subscribe, that gets annoying, but otherwise you all have a good day, and I hope you enjoyed this updated version of the video review I did on this album. So you all have a good day, and bye bye.